Hello and welcome to Joy News Desk with me, Mamiesi Nyamiche Thompson. Coming up this hour, Paul Adom-Otchere detained by special prosecutor over Ghana Airports Company contract probe after failing to meet bail conditions. Also coming up this morning, mass burial held for 16 victims of GACL waterworks crash, including 4-year-old child and the bus driver. We also have government to meet the leadership of the GACL and the heads of security agencies following a series of violent assaults on journalists. We'll bring you business updates on our desk this morning. Don't go away, we'll be right back. This morning, the Office of the Special Prosecutor has charged former Ghana Airports Company Board Chair Paul Adom-Otchere, along with 2 others, over a revenue assurance contract allegedly awarded without competitive procurement. The case involves potential violations of procurement laws in a deal with a private firm linked to Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited, also known as SML. Mr. Adom-Otchere remains in custody after failing to meet bail conditions which require 2 landed properties, assets he claims he does not own in Ghana. And here's how the OSP put it on his Facebook page. Says the OSP has interviewed and formally charged the former board chairman of the Ghana Airports Company Limited, Paul Adom-Otchere, and 2 others. However, Mr. Adom-Otchere has so far been unable to meet his bail conditions. He is required to present 2 landed properties of no specific value registered in his name. However, he has informed the OSP that he does not own landed property in Ghana. As a result, he remains in custody until the bail terms are satisfied. The 2 other persons are Otchere Kwame Bafwe, Group Executive, Commercial Services Ghana Airport Company Limited, and Albert Ajete Ajay-Lai, CEO of DevNest Systems. Mr. Adom-Otchere is under investigation in connection with a revenue assurance contract between the Ghana Airports Company Limited and a private firm owned by the proprietor of Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited. The OSP is examining possible procurement breaches, including a sole source contract awarded to a company other than the one approved by the Ghana Airport Company Limited board. And that's what the OSP put out after detaining Paul Adom-Otchere. Well, before his detention, Mr. Adom-Otchere described the OSP's invitation as a witch hunt.
When he sent us the letter, then quickly leaked it to the media. This is what he does all the time. Leak to the media to try and create the impression that you have done something wrong. Oh, this is showboating. Every media must see everything. We didn't leak the letter. The letter came to us. And quickly he leaked it to the media. He didn't tell the media that we had requested. So when I granted an interview to Joy FM, I said that we had requested and then to shift the date. And then they brought this very brutal letter after that. This very, very brutal one on 30th, yesterday. It says as follows. They wrote to Akufo-Addo Prempeh and Co. And it says direction to attend the OSP office. Listen to the language. Reference is made to your letter dated 30th July with reference number so and so, in which you seek to reschedule the suspect's appearance before. Okay. Please be advised that the office cannot, unfortunately, accept the proposed alternative date. The suspect is required to report as directed on 31st July at 3 p.m. at the office of the Special Prosecutor located at Haile Selassie Northridge. While a suspect is entitled to legal representation of their choice, it must be understood that the law firm operates as chambers comprising multiple lawyers. In circumstances where a particular lawyer is unavailable, any other qualified lawyer from the same firm may represent the suspect without prejudice to his right to counsel. The Office of the Special Prosecutor is discharging a statutory mandate under the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act and does so with the expectation of full cooperation. Failure to appear as directed may amount to obstruction or non-cooperation, and the office reserves the right to take appropriate legal action, including compulsion measures in accordance with the law. For administrative purposes, it will be helpful for all future correspondence to be addressed to the special prosecutor through the undersigned. I don't know who is the undersigned. Who signed the letter? Okay, it doesn't show us who signed the letter. This is the letter that the OSP sent. By the time they were doing the media stuff, this is the letter that they had sent to me, you know. And everybody started calling me that, look, he wants you to come at 3 p.m. on Thursday. He will delay you so that there's no Good Evening Ghana. He will delay you overnight, and this is what he wants to do. And why does he want to do that? Because perhaps he has wind of some PDS petition that is going to him, blah, 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 that we are involved in. That's coming later. Okay, so now let's get to the substance of the letter. So what is the story about? What is the whole brouhaha story about? So in his letter, in the letter of the OSP, he says that, the original letter, he says that he's investigating some revenue assurance, something like that. Okay. In my interviews, I wondered why a board chairman is connected with something that has to do with procurement and all that, because under the Procurement Act, board chairman is not a part of it.
Well, you saw right there Adom-Otchere explaining the issues related to the contract between the Ghana Airport Company Limited and also linked to SML. Well, a member of his legal team, Lenin Adom-Otchere, joins us with more on this. We're grateful for your time, Mr. J.
A very good morning to you, Mamesi, and your viewers.
Good morning as well. I mean, as of this morning, we've learned from sources that you say you haven't had access to your client as of yesterday evening. I mean, is the story the same as this morning?
So, as indicated yesterday, after our initial engagement at the Office of the Special Prosecutor, our client was whisked away. Eventually, deep in the night, we discovered it was at one of the national security facilities, but we've still yet to have access to him. However, the team is scheduled to meet the Special Prosecutor's team this morning, and so we are confident that we would have access to him in good time.
Why do you think you've not really had access since last night? What is at play here? David didn't tell you where he was until you found out that yourself?
Again, I'm unable to say why, but we all know that a suspect or a person who is detained access to his counsel must be unfettered. And for us, the need to know where the suspect or accused is, it's not just a constitutional ordainment, but then it's also the fact that in specific circumstances, people have needs, people have medical needs, others, people have dietary requirements, and so it becomes necessary at all times, while keeping the person to make sure that his welfare and well-being is also well attended to. And so it's rather unfortunate that we've not been able to, contrary to reasonable expectation, but we are confident we would this morning.
All right. Do you believe that the OSP is following due process in detaining your client?
So the OSP, as we all know, is a creation of law, and by the Establishing Act, they are permitted to establish to exercise the powers of the police, which include the right to grant bail and then the right to detain. However, in the exercise of that power, there is a discretion, which largely is done at the whims of the OSP or its officers, and that is where we have taken issue with that. In the exercise of that power that the law gives them, they have not been fair to our client, considering the circumstances and the requirements. But it's a new day. We are confident that something may change. Yes.
Well, let's talk about the bail conditions. The OSP has made it clear that they need 2 landed properties registered in his name. Mr. Adom-Otchere has also indicated that he doesn't own properties in Ghana. How do you intend to, satisfy these conditions? Is it even fair?
So, in your initial reportage, first of all, our client has not been formally charged. He has been cautioned. A statement was taken from him that he's being investigated for this, but we are yet to receive any formal charges preferred against him. And as the statement of the OSP yesterday indicated, the issues under play are still under investigation anyway. And so just a slight point of correction, he has not yet been formally charged. He has been cautioned. Now, regarding the bail conditions, as you may have heard from yesterday's discussion, our constitution presumes every accused person innocent. And so the reason bail is imposed is simply to secure the attendance of the suspect as far as the investigating process is concerned or trial is concerned. In this case, our client has not even yet been charged or arraigned before a court. So the imposition of bail is only to secure his subsequent attendance at investigative meetings by the OSP and other things. And it is in this regard that we take the view that the conditions that were imposed were unfair in the circumstances. In fact, what has come out in the public is that the OSP required that he presents 2 landed properties in his name. But in addition to that, there was also the requirement to provide 2 sureties who are public servants and one of whom is not less than the rank of a principal. And it is why we contend that considering the standing of Mr. Paul Adom-Otchere in society, considering that he's well known, considering that his place of work is known, his fixed place of residence is known, and he has cooperated in that he voluntarily submitted himself to the office of the special prosecutor when he was invited, and it was there that he was put under arrest. The likelihood of him not reappearing should he be invited is very minimal, and therefore requiring that he has landed properties in his name before his granted bail becomes incongruous and unreasonable. But more importantly also, before these bail conditions were imposed, Mr. Paul Adom-Otchere had been profiled as a suspect, where he was required by law to provide certain information, including any assets that he owed, including his biodata, among others. And he had clearly indicated that he did not own any landed property. It therefore came as a surprise to us as his lawyers that as part of bail conditions, that landed property was required. But like I said, the OSP has had time to sleep over it. We are meeting the team again this morning, and then we are hopeful that our engagements may result in the OSP reconsidering its position as far as these bail conditions are concerned.
Well, you are saying that your client hasn't been charged, but per the post by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, it says that the OSP has interviewed and formally charged. So is it that you do not know what the charges are?
And that is not the case. Like I'm saying, the formal charging of a person is a legal act. It's a term. When you formally charge a person, what it means is that you have told the person that you've been charged for these offenses, and then pursuant to that, you arraign the person before the court, resulting in a charge sheet. What happened with the OSP is that our client was interviewed, after which he was made to write a caution statement. And a caution statement precedes a charge statement. So the OSP is yet to take any formal charge statement from our client. And like I said, when you look at the concluding part of the release by the OSP, it indicates that the OSP is still investigating these matters. And that in itself shows that they are yet to come to a conclusive position on what charges they are preferring. It means that even in their view, the offenses they suspect may have been committed has not been conclusively decided. And so it's still under investigation. So what we are aware of and what we saw transpire yesterday was that he was interviewed, he was cautioned, but no charges have been preferred as of yet.
Would you also agree with your client that this is witch hunting?
I mean, Mr. Paul Adom-Otchere for a long time has spoken about the OSP and also has spoken in respect of information and then communications to him suggesting that this may happen. While we are willing and ready that as a law enforcement agency, we are not against them pursuing their mandate, we also expect them in the pursuance of that mandate to follow due process and exercise their discretion as Article 296 requires, without any malice, without ill will, without arbitrariness, and without any capriciousness. And so when you look at the circumstances, we want to give the law enforcement agency the benefit of the doubt. Like I said, it is a new day. The OSP has had time to mull over the happenings of yesterday, and we are meeting them again today, and we are hopeful that today's engagement will yield more fruitful outcomes.
Well, let's get into this, the case about sole sourcing. And would your client acknowledge that he played any role in awarding of the contracts through sole sourcing without going through the put down procedures that he was supposed to abide by?
I mean, these matters are still under investigation. In fact, the OSP itself concedes that it is investigating likely or suspected sole sourcing. So as far as our client is concerned, just the video you played before, he's made his position quite very clear. And in the absence of any contrary show, our client's position has remained that as a board, they did what they were supposed to do. And so as far as he is concerned, nothing untoward has happened in relation to these matters. Right. And that is what our position is.
Well, I know you are hopeful that something can change today when you go and see or meet the OSP, but then the OSP has made implicitly clear that he has to provide the 2 landed properties. Do you have that to meet the bail conditions today?
Now, inherent in the powers of the OSP to grant bail is also the powers of the OSP to vary the conditions of the bail and to change its position. And so while it held that position yesterday, it is within its powers to vary it. And like I said, we have made serious considerations and points to the OSP to consider, given the circumstances of Mr. Paul Adom-Otchere. He's not somebody who likely to run away. He voluntarily submitted himself when he was called. And so I am confident again that the OSP, based on today's meeting, would reconsider and require maybe some other forms of surety to secure the attendance of Mr. Adom-Otchere to subsequent investigative hearings. Be that as it may, the OSP, in the exercise of those powers, also have supervisory oversight, in that there are the courts and other agencies that overlook the OSP. But first things first, our focus is on having a fruitful meeting with the OSP today. We are confident that the OSP would reconsider, given all that has happened, and then just like it has done for other suspects that appeared before the OSP, impose conditions that will be reasonable in the circumstances. Because the bottom line of this is that if the person does not have the landed property, he cannot produce them. And if it is not the case that the person owns it and is unwilling to produce it, if the person does not have, he cannot. And so the requirements of reasonableness and the necessity not to use bail as punishment, as has been underscored by our courts, would have to come into play, and the OSP would have to reconsider what other means to secure the attendance of Mr. Paul Adom-Otchere aside the landed properties registered in his name.
All right, just before you go, I just want to know from you, if you feel that this or Mr. Paul Adom-Otchere fails to make bail, what will be the next line of action?
Like I indicated, Mamiesi, first things first. There are a lot of options available to us, but we focus on what is before us. Let's meet the OSP today and engage them. And we are confident that the legal position of the OSP and their experience in our criminal procedure and jurisprudence would yield. I believe that in the end, reasonableness and compromise would yield to enable the OSP secure the attendance of Mr. Paul Adom-Otchere by some other means other than requiring him to produce 2 landed properties registered in his name.
Right. Thank you very much. Lawyer Lenin Ananije is a member of Paul Adom-Otchere's legal team. Well, on the line with me too is lawyer Samuel Kofinati, and he's a private legal practitioner. We just want to get some education into this. We're grateful for your time on our desk.
Good morning.
Good morning. Now, can you break it down for us? If someone is just a board chair and didn't sign a contract, can that person still be blamed for what's happening?
The person can be blamed for what happened because there are various offenses that the person may likely have committed. The person may have abetted the criminal offense or may have conspired with the other participants in the criminal offense. So therefore, it is possible for the board chair to be liable for such offense.
The OSP says that bail requires landed property, but if the person doesn't own any, is that fair? And are there other ways to secure bail?
So there are other ways to secure bail, particularly because the bail conditions based on our law are not supposed to be harsh or excessive. So bail is not to be used as a form of punishment because the overriding factor is that the parties, the accused person must be someone who should be able to attend court. So if you're in custody, then it means that you will be able to attend the trial. But if you are released and the fact is that you will not be able to attend trial at the end of court, that is where the bail conditions will have to be set. So the OSP's decision to set the bail conditions that landed properties owned by the suspect can be varied if, in the circumstances, the accused person, as he has been asked, the OSP's own commentary said that he has indicated that he does not own any property in the jurisdiction. Then the question would be, can the OSP accept other bail conditions? We have seen many instances where people have stood as surety for accused and suspects. So it's something the OSP should ordinarily be able to do and vary the bail conditions.
Well, in your own opinion, from where you sit, the lawyer for Paul Adom-Otchere is indicating that his client hasn't been charged. And also, the OSP tells us that he's been formally charged, but we do not know the details of those charges yet. Do you think that the OSP is following due procedure in dealing with Paul Adom-Otchere, especially in this instance?
Yeah, listening to the law is a bit curious because it means that if what the OSP says is true, then it means that he was charged before he was invited. Because normally, after his indicate, the cautious take that process will stop the evidence, the issue. So it's a bit kind of, and unless the OSP say that he was charged when you're, and you don't know at what time to forward and how to start to the bit, we will need to that.
Kindly reposition yourself for me just before I let you off, though. I know you're on the road, but what alternatives are available to the lawyer of? Oh, unfortunately, we seem to have lost lawyer Adom-Otchere there, but he's been explaining some of the issues linked to, Paul Adom-Otchere. We're still following this story very closely and get to know what will happen when the legal team of Paul Adom-Otchere meets with the OSP today and see whether he's able to make bail. Well, moving on, government is keen on meeting leadership of the Ghana Journalists Association and the heads of security agencies following the violent assault on journalists. The latest such attack was meted out to Joy News journalist Carlos Kaloni by soldiers while on duty. The GJA has given both the Ghana Police Service and the Ghana Army 7 days to give a public account of the steps taken to punish the perpetrators. Albert Jomfo is president of the GJA.
News journalist Carlos Kaloni was reporting at a demolition exercise at Spintex when he was attacked by uniformed operatives. While interviewing an eyewitness, the individual was beaten. Carlos was struck twice in the neck, his equipment taken, and he was forcefully taken to a national security office at Blue Gate. He was released hours later, only after the Interior Minister intervened. At a press briefing, GJA President Albert Jomfo did not hold back, warning they may blacklist the security institutions and pursue legal actions both locally and internationally.
We demand that the Ghana Police Service and the National Security provides a public explanation for the arrest and detention of Carlos Kaloni and his cameraman. Additionally, we request the immediate release of any findings or internal reviews conducted regarding the uniformed officers involved. If the Ghana Police Service fails to act decisively within the next 7 days, as already stated, the GJA, in consultation with key stakeholders, will announce a nationwide media blackout of all police activities. We will instruct our members to withhold coverage of police events, refuse participation in police press briefings, and suspend all forms of editorial engagement involving the police.
The GJA president said the attack is part of a growing trend of attacks on journalists.
The data available to us, the information and records available to us indicate that the average attack on journalists every year start at 12. So if we have already recorded 12, even before the end of the 7th month, it is very, very scary and alarming.
Mr. Dunfor says it will no longer remain silent. It has given a 1-week ultimatum to the police and other security agencies.
A detailed update on the status of investigations into all reported attacks against journalists across the country within the past 7 months. We expect these demands to be met within 7 days from the date of this statement. And I want to reiterate, I want to take this again. We expect these demands to be met within 7 days from the date of this statement. Failure to do so will leave us with no option but to advise all media houses across the country and our members to boycott all police-related activities and declare them as enemies of press freedom.
The GJA also threatened civil actions against officers who assault journalists and said it will collaborate with international rights groups to track violators.
Our general resolve: legal accountability. 1. Personal lawsuits. The GJA shall, through its legal team, file civil assault cases personally against officers who attack journalists. We shall not shield or allow state protection for individual misconduct. The perpetrators shall be sued in their personal capacity to bear full legal consequences. 2. Human rights petitions. We shall collaborate with human rights bodies locally and internationally to document and pursue justice for each assaulted journalist.
It further announced plans to petition the UN, ECOWAS, and the Ghana Armed Forces Council to sanction and disqualify known human rights abusers from international missions and promotions.
Well, President John Mahama, who condemned the attack, has stressed that his government will not tolerate any form of brutality against journalists. He wants to meet both the GJA and the security agencies.
In the strongest terms, the recent incident involving the manhandling of some journalists by our security personnel. Such conduct is unacceptable and will not be tolerated. I've instructed that the incident be thoroughly investigated and that the officers involved be sanctioned accordingly. As a card-bearing member of the Ghana Journalists Association, I will not preside over a government that abuses or intimidates journalists in the lawful exercise of their duty. A free and responsible press is indispensable to our democracy, and we must all work to protect the media. I'll soon convene a meeting between the heads of the security services and the leadership of the GJA to plan a program to orient our troops to recognize the media not as enemies, but as partners in development.
Well, away from that, all 16 victims who died in a gory accident on Monday at the GACL Waterworks stretch of the Kumasi-Accra Road have been buried in a mass funeral service at Obogu in the Asante-Akim South municipality. 16 passengers, including a 4-year-old child and the driver of the bus, were killed on the spot. Ohim Interior reports.
The Obogu Township was thrown into a state of mourning in a mass burial and funeral service for 16 members of the local branch of the Saviour Church. The accident victims, aged between 4 and 25 years, were returning from a convention when a fuel tanker truck smashed their Ford minibus at GACL Waterworks, a few minutes' drive away from home. Classmates of the victims, local politicians, religious groups, and people from all walks of life joined the mass funeral service. Here is Samuel Brako, who lost his 19-year-old daughter, an aspiring teacher who was awaiting admission to teacher training college.
So what is your color? Kete. Now we do blaze like so bamfa so ma na only one prekopesa de nya de da from kra. Nya na from kra. E abre ho sem kese. Enipa nim na awerɛkyekyerɛ nti yɛayɛ no saa mɛte mu kakra bi a ɛnisuo nko a and ɔpɛ yi bla me free hospital ɛwɔ ɔsen mu ba no mɛte ka mu esu na mɛsu a but nipa wɔ ho a na asa ɔwura akyekyere.
Teachers who lost their students in the carnage also shared fond memories.
A person like Alale Mata, she is in, I'll call it JHS 2. That will be moving to JHS 3 next academic year. Unfortunately, we have lost Alale Mata. A person like Atibila, just last week, we went on vacation. They were all there. Even the immediate past students, they all came because we hired a PA system. The whole place was lively. They were all together.
Very sad incident there. That report coming through by our reporter, him interior. Well, let's speak to the MC, Mami Safwa-Apia, and she joins us via Zoom. We're grateful for your time on our desk. How is your town, especially the family dealing with the loss of their loved ones?
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, a little bit.
Right, so I was asking how, after the burial, the family especially is dealing with the loss of their loved ones.
Thank you so very much. It's obviously very difficult because the kids that lost their lives are all from the same area. They are all Xavier children. The leader of Xavier Chinobo lost children. So it's in a very sad mood, to be fair. Everyone is quiet. The whole township is very quiet. It's a shock. It's a massive shock to the people of Ogun.
Right. I mean, following the incident, has there been any arrest made? We understand a tanker crashed into the vehicle and killing the people on the spot. What has happened since then?
The tanker driver has been arrested. He's on remand right now. The vehicle had 20 people in it. We lost 16. The other 4 actually responded to treatment at Osim Hospital. But the tanker driver is actually on remand right now.
Well, moving forward, what measures is the community putting in place to avert another incident?
Just as I'm speaking to you right now, I've got all the chiefs and on my call of the community right here with me. We're going to talk about the spiritual aspect of everything, physical aspect, how they work with it, and all. I can't too much about that, but things I can for now. What happened never happened. Measures in place. It's coming from it's down the road and going from a normally
unfortunately, I'm losing you. Could you reposition yourself for me a little bit so that...
I'm actually sat where I start the other page. I've no road.
Well, we're grateful for your time here. Mami Safwa is the MC for Asante Akimno, South, I beg your pardon, where that gory accident took place, claiming the lives of 16 persons. Now, the Energy Ministry says it is engaging with the top brass of the security agencies to resolve an impasse between residents of Tamale and staff of the Volta River Authority and the Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NEDCO, who have suspended all field operations within Tamale. The withdrawal of services was decided following threats on their lives and safety of workers. William Asari is the chairman of the Senior Staff Association of NEDCO.
Life is only one, and we will not wait for that to happen. So when they are attacking us and seizing our vehicles and this morning, the staff in Tamale had an emergency meeting and resolved that for the fear of their life, they are unable to go out and do any work. So we are expecting the Ghana Police Service to make some arrests, my sister. because you just can't drive a car and go and park it at the Chief Palace.
William Asare is chairman of the Senior Staff Association and he joins me via phone. William, we understand that the Energy Ministry said they'll be engaging the stakeholders in the community to ensure your safety. Has there been any move in that direction?
Oh, not yet. Not any direct engagement with the ministry at this stage.
And your services have still been suspended or you've resumed?
Not at all, my sister. We fear for our dear lives. These our staff are out to attend summer issues, to attend times when they were into the office. And they were beaten like that. All our ground as we speak. We are not out anyway.
But William, why do you think, or what do you think will warrant such attacks from residents that you're serving? What did you do wrong?
It appears we haven't heard direct from the people who carried out the barbaric act. But just this morning, our management has a separate staff, and it appears as having what certain management that on managing staff issued a react direct from one field to another. And one of the directs affected Tamale. And it appears that he is the one who went to Chief Palace to claim that he is a director who has real corporate portfolio. And he is unhappy with that. And comes to Chief Palace to complain that because and he's going people, the MD is the reason why he is there. And especially that we have this morning that the palace was based on the money where they are. And that the youth headed our.
Let me speak to the spokesperson for the Energy Ministry, Richmond Roxon, who also joins us via phone lines. Richmond, at least yesterday evening on Newsnight, you said that you're making efforts to, ensure the safety of workers of NEDCO. How far have you gone in this direction?
Good morning to you, and good morning to William as well. Yes, as I mentioned yesterday, we've called for calm as a ministry, that the ministry is engaging the stakeholders involved, Senior Staff Association of VRA. We're also trying to engage NEDCO, the management of NEDCO, management of VRA, staff of NEDCO as well, the security services, and also brief the supervising minister. Currently, Honorable John Jinapor is out of the country. The supervising minister for our ministry is Honorable Dr. Keesalatu Forson. So we're engaging him to be able to also engage the security services to ensure that the staff are provided with adequate security.
Until something happens. In the interim, what then happens? Do you advise them to go back to work or services are suspended for now?
No, in the interim, we've called for calm. We are asking them to go back to work as we engage to resolve this matter permanently. We don't want the good people of Tamale and its environs to have interrupted power supply. And we're also using the medium to call on the people of Tamale and its environs to cope and collab with NEDCO staff as well as the staff as they engage in their lawful. It's not fair. It will not be appropriate that persons who are providing service to the Republic of Ghana will be to call on to be calm. Whatever issues they have as a ministry and the government will engage and will ensure that those issues are resolved and become.
But are you sure that your call for calm has reached the residents who are perpetrating this violence on workers of NEDCO?
I believe so, and we'll continue to engage. You have William on the line, and obviously he's heard our call. He's heard that the minister has intervened, and we are putting in all measures to ensure that this is a thing of the past. Their safety is paramount to the ministry, and the provision of electricity in line with energy security is also paramount to the government. So we call both parties to remain calm, engagement to continue, and then we'll ensure that the matter is resolved amicably.
William, you're hearing from the ministry. They're saying that they are showing you that works are underway to ensure that your safety is guaranteed, and it's calling you to go back to work. Do you agree to this?
I understand the call from Mr. Rossi, but my sister, let me say that we have traveled this path several times. I recall that the last time staff were beaten and assaulted, the then Deputy Energy Minister traveled, after my friend, came and met us so that to go back to work. The point is that nobody is accountable for this assault. In this particular case, we were the big, the chief quality. My sister, if somebody takes my car and the car is found in your house, won't you be questioned? Won't the police call you and you give a statement? Won't you be arrested? As we speak now, there is no single arrest. So Tamale residents are emboldened. They think that they can assault NECO staff and nothing will happen to them. And our greatest fear is that if this is not kept, the next time we are discussing this, we'll be discussing the casualty. And as staff, we don't want to get there. Life is only one. So we are taking our destiny into our own hands. If we don't go out, they won't get the opportunity to assault us.
Well, I believe that there's some form of effort to resolve the issues in Tamale. Yes, Richmond?
Yes, I share in the concerns that they have, as expressed by Mr. William on behalf of his group. And like I mentioned, we had assurances of the Minister of Energy and Green Transition.
But how fast? How fast are you dealing with this? Because obviously Richmond is not ready. William is not ready to go back to work. At least not today.
This is being dealt with the speed of light. As I said, we're engaging the Ministry of the Interior, we're engaging the IGP, the security services, as well as the MD for NETCO, and then also the Chief Executive Officer of VRA, and Mr. William and his group as well, because this borders on security, especially our energy security, and it's not something that the government would encourage. So we're dealing with this with a speed that it needs to be addressed, and that's why I've spoken that the Honorable Minister himself has been on leave, and the supervising minister is supervising to ensure that all these things are dealt with. So, Mr. William, I know that, like you mentioned, that previously this has happened. It was under this IDP, it was under this administration, but we are sure that all steps will be taken to ensure that your people are safe. We are, as a supervising ministry, NETCO and GRICO, as well as VRA, are directly under our provision, and we'll ensure that all staff are safe. And we also call on the people of Tamale again that please, we should all ensure that these activities or these attacks will come to an end. If we continue, energy security will be threatened. They will be able to work to ensure that you have power. And I'm not sure that anybody wants to be in darkness.
Thank you so much, Richmond Roxon, spokesperson for the Energy Ministry, and also William with Senior Staff Association Head, William with NETCO. And you're still watching Johnny's Desk on the Johnny's channel. We'll take a break and return with business and other stories.
To our first business story. Head of Africa Economic Research at Standard Bank, Qureshi Gibran, has called on the government to open up the bond market and ease its reliance on the Treasury bill financing, especially as the dollar continues to depreciate against the cedi. According to him, broadening access to the bond market will help cushion Ghana's economy against potential external shocks. He made the remarks during the Stanbic Bank Economic Forum on the 2025 mid-year budget review.
A weaker dollar probably would be positive for markets that have liquid bonds, have liquid foreign exchange markets. And I think that's why it's important and paramount for the Ghanaian authorities to capitalize now and ensure that they open up their bond market, they reduce the burden on T-bill financing. And I think at a time when, the dollar is obviously losing some of its shine, that could be a good opportunity for them to capitalize. But, if I could conclude and say that we are seeing, as I said, a bit of a fading of US exceptionalism, which is now resulting in the weaker dollar. But if there's a global recession, and even if that coincides perhaps with a weaker dollar here and there, which historically doesn't happen, the dollar index, along with other safe haven assets, will rally. I don't think anyone, whether it's Ghana, Kenya, Egypt, Angola, Uganda, would or should be able to celebrate a global recession, because we will get caught in that crossfire indirectly or directly, from a trade standpoint, from a demand standpoint, and also from a financial market standpoint eventually.
In other development, the National Insurance Commission, in partnership with the United Nations Development Programme, has successfully organized the Inclusive Insurance Innovation Challenge 2025. The initiative seeks to deepen insurance penetration and bridge the gap between insurers and underserved populations, especially in the informal sector.
Into the media during the Inclusive Insurance Innovation Challenge 2025, the Commissioner of the National Insurance Commission of Ghana, Dr. Abiba Zakaria, outlined key efforts the Commission is leading to onboard the informal sector into the insurance ecosystem. She emphasized that these interventions align with the government's broader economic recovery agenda aimed at fostering financial resilience and inclusivity.
The products that were designed to support insurance did not take into consideration cultures such as ours. So we want to move beyond that, and we want to say nobody can do it for us. We have to do it for ourselves. So in line with the government's agenda of resetting the economy, we are beginning to, what we want to do is now to develop products and services that support the informal sector, seeing that they form the majority of the Ghanaians, and also seeing that if we want to really make a financial change, then these are the people that we have to reach, so that they too can be protected, they too can have hope, so that they too, when they suffer a loss, they know that there is protection for them.
Also addressing attendees, National Coordinator of the Insurance and Risk Finance Facility at the UNDP, Dr. Enima Samo, highlighted the importance of robust insurance frameworks. She noted that the UNDP is collaborating closely with the government to strengthen regulatory structures that support inclusive insurance.
At the UNDP, we believe that insurance is not, and I emphasize, is not a luxury. It is a development tool. Through the Insurance and Risk Finance Facility, we are working with governments and partners to strengthen regulatory frameworks. I am happy that Commissioner is here because it ends on her desk. Build actuarial and institutional capacity. The insurers understand they have to be there too. Develop sovereign and sub-sovereign risk transfer mechanisms, and most importantly, ensure that no one is left behind.
Among the various teams that joined the challenge, Agricom Assurance was crowned the winner. The Inclusive Insurance Innovation Challenge 2025 brought together a diverse pool of stakeholders, including tech innovators, policymakers, and development partners, all united by the goal of finding sustainable strategies to close the insurance gap and protect more lives and businesses across Ghana.
That's all for business here on News 6. My name is Winston Takib. Mamiese, over to you.
Thank you, Winston. Let's get the latest from the National Science and Math. Now, history unfolded at the 2025 Greater Accra Regional Qualifiers of the NSMQ as Labone Senior High School, Accra Girls Senior High School, and St. Mary's Senior High School all defied the odds to secure spots at the regional championships, marking a rare triple qualification in a single contest. Although Labone Senior High School emerged as the official winner, all three schools crossed the 40-point threshold, turning the fierce academic battle into a collective triumph.
The final contest of the final day of the 2025 National Science and Maths Quiz Greater Accra Regional Qualifiers has just come to an end, and Labone Senior High School has just emerged winner of the contest. They've secured the last spot. You can see they're excited, but we still want to find out exactly how you're feeling. How are you feeling?
Oh my God, I'm very much exhilarated because before we got here, we just knew the victory was ours. They just had to manifest it. And then I'll leave you with this: what God has to share in the through. No man, nobody.
We are going to work diligently, and we are going to do our very best to make sure that any school that comes our way, we are going to meet them squarely and fairly and beat them hands down.
Mary's was handed a rare lifeline in today's contest. After they lost in their first contest with 38 points, they came back harder and smarter in the next contest and made 43 points. Now I want to find out from them. Yes, please. How you feel? How did you feel? I mean, when you didn't make it in the first round and you were in the first contest and you were told you are doing the second contest, you got some hope, right? And when you made 43, how did it make you feel?
I felt so happy because I was like, God has done it. God has done it. Like I felt we have qualified. That's the main thing. Like that's the most important thing right now, and we've done it. So right now I'm at peace, and then I'm so.
Well, you had the excited students of Labone Senior High School. Congratulations to them. But that's it for our show this week. Certainly we'll meet again on Monday. Do have a great weekend.